Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here. And today, I'm bringing you guys my top 5 most beloved premium ships. What do I mean by most beloved? These are ships that, throughout the community, are received very well. They are among some of the best premium ships in the game. They may not necessarily be the best of the best. I would argue that a couple on this list actually are. But these are ships that will pretty much never let you down. They will always do well if you play right. They have quite a pretty darn good credit income, as well as if they are, of course, premium ships, but they're also good at what they do, which makes them pretty good credit printers as well. And if you were to ask me if any of these ships on this list are worth buying, I would say, yep, absolutely they are, or worth grinding up and saving the resources for. So that's what we're going over in today's video. Before we get into it, if you do find yourself enjoying this video, make sure to drop a like and leave a comment down below. Also, next week is CarrierCon aboard the USS Hornet in Alameda, California. I've been invited to go there and participate on one of their panels. So if you want to see IRL Sealord, make sure to head out to the Hornet next weekend. The date should be on the graphic up on screen at the moment. Alright, so let's go ahead and get on into this, starting with number 5, which is the one, the only Tier 6 British battleship, the Warspite. Warspite is a ship that recently helped me get through most of Bronze League and Ranked. She is an excellent Tier 6 premium ship. In fact, in one of last week's videos, I was talking about the best bang for your buck ship, where I was talking about the Arizona, but I mentioned my other choice at Tier 6 would be the Warspite. This ship is awesome. She's a very old premium, and she's held up fantastically well throughout the years. A whole lot of premium ships that they release nowadays, they are either power crapped or just completely forgot about within maybe 3 or 4 months, let alone the, I think, 5 years that the Warspite's been in this game. What makes her so good? So, first off, she has 15-inch guns at Tier 6, which means that in most matches, she can simply ignore the bow armor of most of the ships that she's firing at, and her 15-inch guns will punch right through that, essentially making her a Tier 6 Yami. Plus, her gun accuracy is very good for Tier 6. There's many a times where I've been spoiled by the Warspite. I go play another Tier 6 battleship, and I'm like, what the hell is this dispersion? But the Warspite, it's great. It's truly, truly something special here at Tier 6. Now, she is, of course, very, very squishy. She's not the most tanky battleship, but she does have an improved heel to make up for that. And, again, like I mentioned, ranked Tier 6, you want to take a Warspite. She will do you just fantastically well in a situation where she's for sure top tier, or even if she's mid-tier at Tier 7, she's perfectly capable of keeping up. Even at Tier 8, she does quite well. A lot better than most of the Tier 6 battleships. Tier 6 to Tier 8, when you're in a battleship, is a really rough up tier. But the Warspite helps you make the most of it with her accurate guns. She has a spotter plane as well, to where she can extend her range out a bit more, and that helps keep her in those Tier 8 fights. So absolutely, Warspite, if you're ever thinking about picking her up, I absolutely would. Also, check out a lot of the deals that Wargaming will send out for these recruiting drives that they go on, where they try to get more players to sign up for the game. They often give her away in those deals, which is, again, great, because this is a really darn good ship. It's worth buying, and if you can pick her up for free, abso-freaking-lutely, definitely here with the Warspite. Going down to number 4, we have the Tier 9 premium German battleship, the Pommern. The Pommern is, it is so weird with the Pommern. So, on paper, this ship really shouldn't be anything special in today's meta at higher tier, because she's a Tier 9 German battleship. She has German battleship armor, which means she's easily farmable by most other ships at her tier. She's a huge target. Her guns aren't really that accurate, and they're only 15-inch guns. Plus, she's designed for brawling. She has great secondaries, torpedoes, hydroacoustic search. She's meant to be played at close range. Yet, the Pommern somehow still manages to keep up in Tier 9 games, even in today's meta. I think a good chunk of that is the simple fact that she has 12 15-inch guns. 12 is a lot for any tier 9 battleship to have as their count for main battery guns. And sure, 15-inch guns, while they're not, especially by tier 9 standards, large by tier 9 battleship standards, they still pack a punch, and it's still German AP. German AP hits really hard and hits well above its weight class. So, she does quite well there. And when you can get into brawling situations, she does phenomenally well. Again, the ship is all around designed for brawling. It's basically, they took an FDG and they made it even more geared toward brawling. You give up the 16-inch guns for torpedoes. You get, again, really good secondaries. You get about to 12 kilometers with proper build. And of course, they are German secondary, so they have that special German HE pin ratio. And of course, if you have Lucians, you throw him on the Pommern, and then you really got something special though, because you can pop that secondary battery skill once you get 100 secondary hits, which is not a really tall order for the Pommern by any stretch of the imagination. You get that going, your secondaries are firing even faster, and from close in broadside shots. Doesn't matter if they're only 15-inch guns, she still has 12 of them, and they still hurt like hell. And then, of course, the Hydro helps you avoid torpedoes and seek out those pesky DDs and such hiding in smoke. So, yeah, again, on paper, the ship really shouldn't be doing as well as it does in today's meta, but it still does. Now, am I going to say that you're going to be leading the leaderboards with this thing in a game where you barely get within 15 kilometers of each other? No. But if you look at how some of the other German battleships are doing, especially the main line, if you still try to run a secondary build on them, they don't do that well at all in today's meta. But the Pommern somehow still does. Again, I think the sheer number of main battery guns is really coming in clutch for this ship. Not to mention, you can get the ship 100% for free. She's a coal ship. You can just get your daily containers, play a little ranked, do a little mission here and there, grind out a couple levels of the battle pass, and easily get the ship within a few months completely for free. If you don't have the time, you can drop $77 on her. I know it's a lot, but hey, if you've got Lucians, you like German ships, well worth the money in my mind, or of course the coal, which I would highly recommend you just grind it out for free. So that's the Pommern. She's number 4. Moving down to number 3, we have a tier 8 American destroyer, the Kid. The Kid is probably the closest thing we're going to get to the Johnston in this game until Wargaming decides they really want to make money and release the Johnston. So the Kid is a tier 9 American DD, the Fletcher, down tiered to tier 8. She exchanges her Fletcher torpedoes for, I believe, Benson torpedoes. Well, 2 racks of Fletchers for 1 rack of Benson. But you gain absolutely god tier AA out of the Kid. The Kid is the perfect ship for when you're just tired of being bullied by CVs. With her DFAA and the additional 40mm Bofors where her second rack of torpedoes were, this thing is just an absolute plane shredder. And that is something that's pretty rare today. A lot of ships today, their AAs, yeah. And then you have, of course, the god tier AA ships, and she is certainly one. So if you're tired of CVs bullying you, this is the ship to go with. And she's also a good DD as well. The way I play my Kid is as a cap contesting DD. She's great for that. You get at a heal as well on a Fletcher at tier 8 with Fletcher guns. So, yeah. What I do, I go to the cap, I get stirred in, I sit there, I take the cap, I protect my cap like a little rabbit chihuahua, I try to take out the enemy DD. And keep in mind, again, this is a Fletcher with the guns of the Fletcher with a heal at tier 8. So when you get lucky and you're in a tier 8 game and you're top tier, you can pretty much take on every single tier 8 DD with that heal that allows you to punch through their DPM and gives you a huge advantage in DD on DD combat. Now, when you do get lucky enough and get a team like I had this round that actually supports you, you are nigh unstoppable at that point. And you still get the nice American smokescreen. You still have the Fletcher guns, which means that once you deal with that DD, you can, do a little honest work and get some farming going in with the Kid here and have a pretty nice round overall. Although, of course, since at least the way I play it, again, as a cap contester, I don't normally get to that part. I normally focus on killing the DDs, ensure that you may not get a huge damage number at the end, but again, that doesn't really matter because the way this game rewards you is on the percentage of damage that you've done versus the ship's overall HP. So, when you're in the kid, knocking out these other DDs, you get the same rewards as if you had done that to a battleship. Except it's really easy to do in the kid with the guns and then the heal that you have. So, excellent DD here. An excellent beginner's DD. There's a lot of forgiveness involved in the kid with that heal. So, if you're maybe looking into, starting to get into destroyers or something like that, and you're okay with buying a premium, again, please play the tier 8 so you know what you're doing. This is a good place to start. Plus, again, fantastic American premium ship as well. And a real still historical ship, one that's quite close to where I live. Alright, going down to number the second, we have the tier 8 Japanese cruiser, the Atago. The Atago is a heavy cruiser that I had for a very long time. I picked her, I think, fairly early up in one of the center container videos that I was doing, trying to see, how the containers are dishing out their rewards. It just sat in my port for the longest time. I had her, but I never played her because I play battleships, and battleship players love to shoot at Atagos because they explode. I quickly learned that once I had my Atago, turns out when you use that thing called a rudder, which the Atago's rudder is actually really good, it's much harder to explode. And apparently all the Atagos I've been shooting at just didn't know how to use their rudder. Because, man, this ship is, hands down, in my opinion, one of the best tier 8 cruisers, except for maybe the Mines. But this is the one I would rather take over the Mines because you get the heal, you have a really nice concealment on the Atago. You can get it down to 9.3 kilometers on a heavy cruiser, guys, that has Japanese HE, which is fantastic for starting fires. You have great HE alpha with the Japanese HE. You get actually good torpedo tube angles on a heavy Japanese cruiser, which, if you guys don't know, most Japanese heavy cruisers have to pretty much sail completely flat broadside to get their torpedoes out. You don't got to do that here in the Atago. You get a heal. You get hydroacoustic search as well. So what you have here is a heavy cruiser with torpedoes, Japanese torpedoes too, Japanese HE, the ability to dictate the terms of your engagement with your great concealment, which means this ship is great at, everything. Except maybe plain blending, but everything that a cruiser needs to do, the Atago's really good at. And the ability for you to pick and choose your engagements with that good concealment is so great. Because yes, the Atago does explode if you get some shells to connect to its middle section. But if you can dictate the terms of your engagement, you have a very maneuverable ship. And plus, two guys, I know you think, well, yeah, you can still be spotted by a DD, right? No destroyer really wants to be within 9 kilometers of an Atago, because that HE alpha, one salvo from Atago can easily ruin a DD's match if most of the shells connect, which most of those other shells will connect as long as you aim properly, because the Atago has some amazing accuracy on her guns as well. The shells are going to go where you go. It's odd if you don't have a salvo that pretty much goes where you think the shells should. Well, if you aim properly, that is. The shells should go exactly where you want them to go. She's a great cruiser, one that I cannot sing the praises of enough, and one that, again, has absolutely stood the test of time. This is one of the oldest premium ships in the game here, guys, and she has held up fantastically well. Alright, going down to number 1, we have the Tier 10 French battleship, the Bourgogne. Now, the Bourgogne's another ship that eluded me for a while. She's a steel ship, so it takes quite some time to save up enough steel to actually acquire a Bourgogne. But what happened was, I would save up enough steel to get a steel ship, a new steel ship would come out, I'd have to get it to review, and then by the time I was almost back to getting enough steel for a Bourgogne, new steel ship would come out, and then the cycle would repeat itself. I was finally able to save up enough steel once the Puerto Rico came back into the dockyard, because if you already had the Puerto Rico from the original Puerto Rico dockyard, which I had, you could grind through this dockyard and then get a token where you could then exchange that for whatever steel or research bureau points or doubloons you needed in order to acquire a tier 10 ship. Did that, I got the Bourgogne, and wow, this ship is amazing. Now, what the Bourgogne is essentially an all-sauce that can hit what it's aiming at, then throw on a reload booster on there as well, and then that's the Bourgogne. Doesn't sound like that big of a change, and it's really not if you played the all-sauce, but just accurate 15-inch French guns with a reload booster with French AP. What more do you want? Now, yes, this is a tier 9 ship up tiered to tier 10 with just an accuracy boost and reload booster essentially. But man, 15-inch French AP doesn't really mess around. That stuff is traveling exceptionally fast. It hits like 16 or 17-inch shells. Now, yes, they are 15-inch, so you can't really overmatch really anything at tier 10, but you throw in the HE with the accuracy of the guns coupled with the good reload time and then the reload booster, you can easily barbecue whoever you need to get dead quite quickly there. Good trick is, you throw some HE at them, start a fire, they pop their damage con, wait for that to come off of running, pop reload booster, get 3 salvos out on them very quickly, and they got 3 or 4 fires burning over their entire ship, and well, not too many ships can take that much fire damage and continue to float after that. Not to mention too, that also means that her reload booster helps her out quite a bit when dealing with DDs, because again, 12 shells with the accuracy of these guns, not too many DDs can eat that and continue to sail on about their day. Her engine boost also makes it very easy for her to find a flank, run down it, find the side of the enemy ship, load in that AP. If someone shows you a broadside in the ship, I mean, shoot, especially if it's like a battleship or any heavily, like, large cruiser, pop that reload booster, get 3 salvos of AP out on them. If they're still alive, they're going to be hurting quite a bit. A great ship here, and one that really probably should have been the actual tier 10, maybe with a couple modifications here and there, a little more HP or a better armor scheme or something like that. It just makes more sense going from the all-sauce to this thing than from the all-sauce to the Republic. Don't get me wrong, I love my Republic. It's a fun boat. I really enjoy playing her, but this ship is just so good. I know she's a still ship, and for the average Joe, that takes forever to get, but this is one I absolutely would get. This is in my top 3 still ships in order of buying them, probably like 2 or 3 after the Stalingrad is something like maybe the Incomparable, just for the goofiness. If you don't need the goofiness of the Incomparable, it's probably like the number 2 ship to get from the still ship section. So guys, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below, about these ships, about the list. What would you add? What would you remove? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. Hope you have a wonderful Monday, wonderful rest of your week. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.